Mainly anger. This is a real simple fix. All you've got to do. Okay, all you got to do. If you find yourself in this situation. Hi there guys, Megan Ryan JC, and today what we're going to be talking about is the main reason as to why most people, the majority of the public, have trust issues. You see, it's a long line of events, these series of events behind our lives, the backstories to our lives, which really do determine how we feel within this present moment. And unfortunately, the way that we've been treated, it really does screw up our perception of reality. And so what I'm going to be talking about in this video are 11 signs or significances that could be hindering your ability to trust others, whether that be in a relationship or whether that be between your long lost friend, your first friend even, school friends, mates, who you just lose touch with, you just disconnect with these people who were once very important within your life but now are no longer around. Trust issues can destroy lives, but more importantly, they can prevent you from creating a new life. So hopefully this video will help you guys out, okay? And like I said before, these are 11 ways in which you could be having trust issues. 11 issues which deal with your perception of your reality as it is right now. The last thing you'd want is to expect to be seeing something which isn't actually happening. Or in other words, an illusion. So let's really define trust for a second, okay? So what is it? Well, trust is when you've got this expectation of a future reality that you're hoping that somebody else is going to live up to. When they break your trust, they're breaking the expectation. Therefore, you feel like crap. You put them up on a pedestal. You maybe thought that they were Superman or Superwoman. You may have thought that they were the best friend in the world that you could ever hope to have wished for, and that you had perceived to already had until they have broken your trust. It's those moments in life where you realize that your illusions or your delusions of the people who you think should be a certain way are actually another way. They behave in ways which are completely contradictory towards what you want them to be. So what's one of the first reasons as to why you may have trust issues? Well, the first thing is, it's happened before, right? The main issue with this is a lot of people can become bitter due to their experiences within the past, thus harboring emotions such as jealousy, envy, and anger above all. Anger is usually after pain. Once somebody feels hurt or crushed, then they'll get angry as a way of escaping the pain that they're feeling. It's really a coping mechanism for their subconscious mind. The only issue is when people feel pain, then they get angry, then they get aggressive. Now you're getting people who are just beating the crap out of each other simply because, well, they're upset. They're throwing a tantrum. This can't be solved by violence. Violence only begets more violence. It can only be solved by a relationship. Once you can relate to that person in his moments or in her moments of pain, all of a sudden they won't feel anger towards you anymore. Matter of fact, they'll feel very comfortable being around you and speaking to you. Because think about it, when people are in pain, they hold that crap in for so long. They don't say anything to anybody because they feel like they can't say anything to anybody. So naturally, they'll hold it within themselves, and then eventually they just blow and they start hitting something or someone. Usually it's a door, then a brick wall, then a boxing bag, until eventually someone else's face. Pretty much 99.9% of the time, when somebody has this trust issue, they'll often project their anger onto a new person. This is because subconsciously, they're seeing their old spouse within that newcomer. Okay? So if they've got trust issues, it's going to cause them to sabotage every new relationship that they're having or that they're coming into, often unfairly, obviously. Because now they've got all of this anger towards a complete stranger. And the complete stranger could be there like, what the is going on? I don't deserve this. And oftentimes they'll walk away. Unfortunately, it's just one of those traits that come along with being unaware of your subconscious mind and how it's trying to vent old, stagnant emotional energy. Now, I will give you the resolve to these issues. But first, I just want to tell you guys the 11. Second, it's the fear of feeling hurt. Nobody wants to feel pain again. Now, usually this is a precursor to feeling angry. Only instead of projecting their anger onto others, Now they're just going to completely avoid situations where they could potentially trust somebody else. Third is a very arrogant trait of people who cannot trust others, and that is arrogance. It is so frustrating for people to be on the receiving end of this. It's usually followed up by when I was your age, okay? And obviously if it's in any relationship, be that friends or family relationships or relationships dealing with partners of either sex, if one is older than the other, you'll often be on the receiving end of this condescending psychopathic nature. And it's not fun to experience, especially when you know where that person's coming from, and yet they're supposed to be higher than you. They're supposed to be more wise as they're perceiving themselves to be. It just shows a lack of maturity on their half. The entire phrase, however, is back when I was your age, I was ... See, I was. They're basically foreshadowing the fact that they're going to project what they were doing onto you. So if they were very promiscuous, if they were going around sleeping with everyone, if they were going around lying a lot, and they were at a certain age during that time, and then they see you, they'll say, back when I was your age, I used to do certain things. How can I trust you? How can I trust you? Maybe they're being triggered. Maybe you're doing little things that they used to do. But the fact of the matter is not everybody does the exact same thing. But in their mind, if they're being triggered by little things that you're doing, well, that could very well lead into you breaking their heart. Cheating. Betrayal of friendships. This goes into my fourth point. Back when I was your age, I saw others like you. Now, this is a third-party passive observer projection. They're projecting the fact that they've seen others who are your age causing mayhem, mischief, possibly cheating, possibly messing around. I keep segueing back to cheating because really, that's the main trust issue that a lot of people in this world have. When that happens, boy oh boy oh boy, it's pretty much the same as the last issue. Only this time it's harder to solve because now it's not dealing with their psychology, it's dealing with the psychology of others. This brings me into trait number 5. And that would be a friend, often a close friend, has been treated like crap by somebody who looks like you. I can't trust you because my friend Nancy had this boyfriend. He was a nasty piece of work. Kind of remind me of him. You have a similar taste in music. A low-cut hair style. Yeah, I can't trust you. Nope. And then they walk out, right? Again, this is more of a passive third-party observatory statement or belief. They saw somebody outside of themselves having issues with somebody else. Now, subconsciously, their subconscious mind is going to take a snapshot of that movie frame or those frames per second, that moment within your friend's history, in hopes of avoiding a possible uncomfortable situation within the future. We as beings intuitively try to avoid what feels uncomfortable, especially when it comes to possible danger within our future. Number 6 is a sexually active parent figure. Usually this happens with guys, okay? Guys who have grown up within a household where their mother is very, very promiscuous. Now all of a sudden, they feel a certain amount of distrust with women. As far as they're concerned, women have always been promiscuous. Why? Because the first woman who they've ever seen within their entire life has been their mother. Their mother who was sleeping with so many people that unfortunately now, that person no longer knows who their father is. 7 is TV programming. We've seen so many shows online. I myself, even as I was going through college, Jersey Shore, and then Geordie Shore was basically a copy. There are so many TV shows out there that will display the promiscuous behaviors of either spouse. The issue is that not everyone's like that. It's no good. The reason as to why this reality programming is called programming is because it plants that seed within your mind that, well, nobody can be trusted. Especially when it comes to what they're doing on the TV program. This is why when you fast from TV, only good can come of it. Issue number 8, an absent parent figure. It can be the father or it can be the mother. If the father figure is absent, then the female daughter will always seek out males within relationships that are always preoccupied with something else, always not able to show up on time. And because of this, their behaviors will only reinforce the fact that within their past, they were actually abandoned by their father figure. It sucks, but this is a very real thing, which segues me into my next point, point number 9. Abusive parent figures. Whether that be mothers or fathers. If somebody who has grown up within a household who's been constantly beaten or verbally abused by their mother or father, then I'll often expect that of others growing up, which then leads me into my next point, number 10, which would be paranoia, often as a result of being attacked. If you've been attacked within the past by anybody, then you're more than likely to be very fearful of the future, mainly people around you, anybody that triggers you to remember that unfortunate event. Now, this will deal with traumas, traumatic experiences, and thus carrying a traumatic experience into the future, thus ruining your present moment. Turns out that was actually 10 points, not 11. I read the other one twice. Well, now it'd be easier for me to go through the resolve of these issues. Let's take another look at number 1. Okay, anger, jealousy, and envy towards anybody within the future just because of something that happened within the past. Mainly anger. This is a real simple fix. All you've got to do, if you find yourself in this situation, is you look at this person, you think about it like this. You've got to really think about it logically with all of these steps. Logic is the key to shifting the mental perception on anything. And when you shift the mental mind, the emotional body follows suit. Thus, the physical body feels more comfortable. It always goes in that order. Has the person in front of you ever mistreated you? More than likely not. Why do you believe that they're going to mistreat you? And then you ask yourself a bunch of these questions. When you do that, you'll find yourself coming up with the answers. Maybe it's because they look like this person, or they remind you of this event, because now they're asking you to go to this cinema, or this soccer field. Clothing design, the decorum, their job, how they look, be that their ethnicity, all compounds into this tightly packed magazine in order to load the gun to trigger you, in order to not feeling trust for this person. So when you think about it logically, when you say, okay, well, does he really look like this person? And if so, what of it? You'll eventually get to the point where your subconscious mind that often gives you all of these excuses can't give you these excuses anymore because it just doesn't know. That's the breaking point. That's what you want to do. Question the crap out of yourself until you just stumped. There is, of course, an easier way of doing this. Think of it like this. How many people throughout your entire life remind you of that person? And out of those people, how many of them have actually broken your trust? Number 2, fear of getting hurt. Do the exact same thing for number 1. Number 3, back when I was your age. This isn't a very good blockage to have, especially if you're the elder one. What you want to do is simple. You want to look at them and try to seek out the maturity in their life. Things that you previously had never came up with before. They somehow have the answer. How do they have the answer? Ask yourself, what experiences have they experienced which led them to having this level of maturity? And then find out a way to match the level of maturity by doing things with them, which will balance you out. Now, if you're on the receiving end of this issue, then you're going to have to demonstrate moments of maturity to this person to let them know that, you know what, you ain't no kid. It doesn't matter how many years there are apart from your age groups, even if it's just 1. The fact of the matter is, if you can demonstrate that you're more mature, the better. Now, usually, if it's only a couple of years, it's as easy as growing a beard, dressing more smart, changing your shoes even. I kid you not. Women and guys actually judge the opposite sex predicated upon what they're wearing. They'll scale you up like that, ultimately coming up with a judgment before they've even met you, before you've even opened your mouth. So it's best to know these things before you even approach a person to build a trust. Number 4, back when I was your age, remember this one, I saw people like you. Yeah, you did. This is the tough one I was talking about. Yeah, you saw people like me. You did. But did you ever get to know them? Was you too shy? Maybe just staring and judging from a distance was enough to steer you away from actually engaging into an intellectual conversation with the person. So how do you know? Really? Yeah, you saw others like them. But out of all of those people, how many of those people actually behaved exactly like the other? Maybe with just a few things, yeah. But ultimately, their course or their final destination in life was completely different, wasn't it? That's because nobody's carved the same way. Nobody's cut out to be the same person in life. If you speak that truth onto them, they'll be stumped, instantly shifting their awareness. They won't know what to do. But to see the fact that you are actually demonstrating a high level of wisdom, which again ties into maturity. Segueing back to number 5, a friend was treated a certain way and now I don't trust you because, her boyfriend reminded me of you and I don't trust you. So the third party one is slightly more difficult than the one before. Here's the thing, their friends attracted certain people within their lives simply because of the energy that they put out, or in other words, how they were acting. Now, your friend, especially if you're no longer around that person, even if you have time apart from that person, be that a week or a month or a year, it's because you're actually doing other things, clearly. Otherwise, you'd be spending time with each other in order to do those things. So if you're into other things, it's going to suggest that your personalities aren't exactly the same. Thereby, the likelihood of you attracting other people who are actually on a different wavelength of thinking, different characteristics, is pretty high. You're not going to attract the same person they did because, well, you're different. And that's just the way it is. When you realize that by comparing your boyfriends or your girlfriends with their boyfriends or their girlfriends, all of a sudden you'll start to see the link. And then you'll be able to better predict the relationships that you're going to be getting yourself into within the future. Number 6 is the sexually active parent. What they'll need to do in order to get over that blockage is pretty much like the last one. They'll need to think about all of the mothers and all of the fathers that they've met, often due to meeting their friends' parents for the first time, and really compare their parents to their own. When they do this, they'll realize that the majority of people aren't the same. Thereby, it will shift that perception that all women or all men are crazy horn dogs, right? These shifts are profound. A lot of people don't realize, but in hypnosis and in the darker corners of psychology, dealing with regression and traumas, this is often what would happen. You'd sit on a couch and somebody would ask you questions in order for you to see things differently, which then shifts your awareness, thus allowing you to release emotional energy. Number 7, TV programming. Very basic, pretty much the same way as the last 2. How different are you from the people on TV? And just use that. Number 8 is the parent figure not being around. You can do the exact same thing as you did for number 6. How many of your parents' friends are actually always around for Christmas, for assemblies, for parents' evening day? How many of them have had their parents follow through? Then you realize that most males or most females are actually competent and they always show up on time. Yeah, they got a bad egg when it comes to their parents, but the majority of which aren't actually that sour. And then that was pretty good. That was pretty good. And then by realizing that, every new person that comes in to someone else's life won't be viewed under the same judgmental eyes as one may have previously viewed their parents. Same goes for the violent parent figure for number 9. Same for number 10. What circumstances prompted such abuse within your past? Who was you hanging around with? What did you say to your parents? What did you say to your uncles? What did you say to that bully? What did you say to those strangers? Who was you hanging around with? What were they doing? Because even their reality, the things, the circumstances that will burden them, that weigh them down, will be taken on board within your life. So think about it that way. Are you hanging around them anymore? And if not, then what's the likelihood of you getting started on or getting beaten up by anyone else? If you were a victim of an abusive family member, are they around anymore? These have been my 10 ways in order to cure trust issues. This deals with trust across the board. It doesn't just pertain to relationships within boyfriend and girlfriend. This mainly deals with everybody, friends, family, etc. Honestly, it's going to take a while for you to really sit there with yourself. Not only that, but only certain cures can be applied to the mind and the soul when somebody comes along to reopen those wounds. Or in other words, you can only cure these aspects of yourself once you find yourself in those situations where you are mistrusting of somebody else's trust. Then you'll sit there with yourself and then proceed to ask yourself the questions. And that is pretty much the only reason as to why it's going to take some time. It's because you need to be triggered in order to focus on the parts of you that need to heal. I'm Ryan James Cropper. This has been Your Potential. If you want more self-help videos like this, then head on over to my YouTube channel and subscribe. Not only that, but I am a life coach. I do teach and coach people through their issues. So if you want to book a consultation with me, then you can head on over to ryancropper.com, click on online products, and you'll find the details there. It's going to be about doing it for today. I'll speak to you all pretty soon. Peace.